Okay, beautiful people, and welcome back to Paragon. Today, after doing my little video on support, I thought I would take a look at my Narbash build, considering that Satori cloak was available to buy, and I haven't had it this whole time. I figured I'd rework his build and do a guide for it. Alright, so if you're going to find this video helpful, please drop me a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing for more Paragon content, but with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. So here we have the Tanky Support version 2.0. It's a little bit complicated, so bear with me. We're going to take the Centurion, just to make us even more tanky when we get our P buff. Okay, we have a Harvester Key and the Shepherd's File in there, just in case. I rarely ever use these. Every now and then I might grab the Harvester Key if the jungler is not doing his job. But with them done, let's move on. Okay, so we'll just quickly go over a couple of 6-point cards that I have in the deck just for the early game that get replaced. Okay, so first up we have an early game Pendulum of Lords. Right, it has a basic chrono, and a basic mana. Alright, gives us a 10% cooldown reduction and 150 mana plus 100 health. We then have an early game Thorn Greenweave with 2 minor barriers and a minor strike that gives us 66 resistance, and it gives us a little bit of physical damage. We then have a 6-point Tempered Plate with 3 lesser healths that gives us 66 resistance and 400 extra health. Okay, so with the two of them together, we have 66 of both resistance, a little bit of damage, and a little bit of health. Helps very much in the early game. We then have our Circlet of Health, which is the first card that we take when we're supporting. We'll get rid of that whenever we feel like it's not really helping. And we have a Brawler's Ward, which actually stays on the build. It's normally the second card that I take, and it has 2 minor strikes and a basic mana. You can, if you like, change this up and just put basic mana on it. That will be fine, but you'll find that you won't really need it because he is not a burst caster. The amount of mana regen that we actually have on this build, he will be fine. Okay, so the next card that we have that I generally go for next is my Amulet of the Veteran with 3 greater healths. Okay, that's going to give us an extra 1200 health, make us nice and fat. And then we have our 2 resistance cards in the way of Spike Bone Plate with 3 greater guards, so it's another 12-point card. And then we have Satori Cloak. Satori Cloak will have 3 greater barriers or divine barriers, whichever, they're the same thing, and it ends up at 14 points. Okay, so if you have a look at Satori Cloak, in case you don't know, on hit with basic attack, shred enemy physical armor and or energy armor equal to 50% of your current physical and or energy armor for 4 seconds. So on this build, we have 198 of each resistance, technically. So once we get to the point where we're using Satori Cloak, because we have 198 of both, we will shred 50% of that, which is 198. So pretty much taking the majority of anyone's armor off completely. It makes killing with Greystone for your carry very, very easy. Run around with your Grim or Murdoch and start slashing away at a Greystone, and he will just get decimated. Okay, the next card that we have, which is pretty important, is our Pendulum of Lords with 3 chronos. Okay, that's going to give you 20% cooldown reduction. On top of that, with the blue buff, you'll end up at 40% cooldown reduction, so you'll be thunking like crazy. Okay, and then we have our Overflowing Gifts, which is adjusted into a 7-point card to make up for the fact that this is a 14-point card, okay, instead of a 12. Alright, so we've put 2 basic sparks and a spark on there to give us a good amount of mana regen. It's also a good card to replace your Circlet of Health with, because every 75 seconds you can give everyone on your team 10 health regen for 14 seconds. Okay, and it gives you your mana regen, so you don't have to actually build into mana. So the final build will be Satori Cloak at 14 points, Spike Bone Plate at 12 points, Pendulum of Lords at 9 points, Overflowing Gifts at 7, Brawler's Ward at 6, and Amulet of the Veteran at 12. Now with the Brawler's Ward, you can choose to actually replace that with something else. If you have these 6-point cards here, they're completely optional. They don't considering they're getting replaced, it doesn't really matter what you have here. You can have whatever you want. So if you didn't want to have this Brawler's Ward at the end game, or you wanted to change it, you can do that, and it will be fine. Okay, but that's the build in general. Go out and give it a go. I know Narbash is kind of hated on a little bit, but I love the guy. He's amazing. And we're inching so close to his emote, which I'm going to be spamming like crazy once I get it, just annoying the shit out of people. Yeah, so give that a go, try it out. You'll find it's extremely tanky and extremely useful to work with your carry. So if you do go on to find this build helpful, or you just enjoyed the video at all, please drop me a like down below. Leave me a comment if you have any suggestions for tweaking the build, or if you have anything to say in general. Thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.